As you can see, we still have this general camera angle just because I got some stuff I'm working on this side of the room, so we just have to have this weird angle right here. But you get another look at, you know, where it is I record and stuff. I kind of do stuff in the little antisocial emo corner over there, so you get some behind the scenes stuff, I suppose, but that's not here there. So my bad for kind of being unprofessional with this nasty camera angle. But speaking of being unprofessional, going into last night's game, I thought it was my opportunity to get on here and slander Caitlin Clark, but there are so many other things to discuss, specifically involving the Dream. I don't even get the chance to do so Caitlin gets lucky, but I will just sprinkle this in here. Looking, at numbers, box scores, and highlights, I knew she was struggling with the transition to the W. I didn't know she was this bad. Caitlin Clark is awful. I mean, she is terrible. And that's not me hating. I'm telling you, like, I watched it. Like, I sat there and watched the whole game. I was going to do just the highlights until I saw the starting lineup, and I'm like, oh no, I have to watch this full game, but that's not here there. But yeah, Caitlin Clark is not very good at all. And I don't think that's a hot take. I feel like that's just factual. Maybe numbers-wise, due to the volume of shots she takes, maybe you can make an argument for some of the stat lines are pretty and such, and, you know, numerically she might be on track for certain things. But like as an overall player, she is horrible. Some of these turnovers, if this was the YMCA, I'd be calling for you to sub out. She's really bad, and I don't know if anyone has said that on camera before, so I just want to make sure someone is saying it. She's horrible. I'm sure she'll get better, but God, she's bad. That does not match the hype and toxicity on social media at all. I thought she was like Jordan. Wow, she's bad. My God, but that's not there. Speaking of things being bad and things that we need to address that don't match the online social media hype, Coach Tanisha Wright has been under the line of fire, if you will, metaphorically, and on a little bit of a hot seat due to fans like myself who are kind of tired of the shenanigans. Now, if you ask actual fans of the Atlanta Dream, we've all been on the same page for about 3 years. There's a larger light on the larger NBA product right now. Again, just shout out to Andrew Reese and Caitlin and all of them. So a lot of these talking points that people have been doing for years are being brought to the light in a much higher scale. The Atlanta Dream are supposed to be like a top 3, top 4-ish team in the league. Maybe 3 is pushing it too much, but at least top 5 to 4. The Lynx are quite the surprise at the moment, so I can understand if they are occupying that 4th slot, but like right under that is supposed to be us on paper alone. Then piggybacking off of the season that we just had, they are supposed to be in that upper echelon. We're definitely better than the Wings. We're like all these little mid-tier teams, we are significantly better than. Now, the record will show you that we are in that elite upper echelon of the league. There's only a certain amount of teams, so like that's not really saying much, but you get what I mean, right? But right now, we are playing like we're no better than Washington. We're playing like we are no better than Phoenix. And that's no shot at Phoenix because y'all know how I feel about Merc Gang or no gang, and the homie BG's back. But just in terms of the trajectory of the team and where it is we're supposed to be, and the season, like we're already in June, so it's like, some of the things we're going through, we should not still be going through. That's what the off-season acquisitions were supposed to address. The addition of a Tina Charles, your aerial powers, like all of that. Like that's supposed to be addressing things. Now, I don't want to rehash the things I said in yesterday's video. Well, maybe the day before that, because I feel like that's not really helping anything right now. So I kind of just want to focus on last game and specifically things that I find alarming and appalling. Number 1, Tanisha Wright being on the hot seat, right? Where that's coming from is the fact that certain players are getting a green light while other generational talent and all-stars are being ignored and lost in the shuffle. One of the main criticisms is the play of Cheyenne Parker. Now, she was selected to be an all-star because of the greatness of Ryan Howard and nothing else. And I need that to be so crystal clear that is the only reason why Cheyenne Parker was an all-star last year, because of the greatness of Ryan Howard. That's not me being a stan. That's not glazing, as the kids say. That is a literal fact. That's what happened. She's been in the league for like, what, a decade? And she just now became I'm telling you, it was because of Ryan. So when we have criticisms to say, hey, the accolades don't match the production, especially on the defensive end, and we're screaming, why is Nia Coffey not in the starting lineup? Because that's what we were doing last year when we made the playoffs. For Coach Wright to then say, okay, that's what you want? Damn, here you go. And you bench Cheyenne Parker and just plug and play and say, okay, now Nia Coffey is your 4, and we're just going to leave Tina at 5. Again, what meeting did I miss where Tina Charles is a foundational piece of this team? You move Cheyenne back to the 5 and put Nia Coffey back in there. Like, just do what you did last year and have Tina Charles come off the bench and be unguardable and do all that stuff she does. What meeting did I miss where Tina is an essential part of this team? I don't get it. And in terms of Coach Wright, that's sabotage. That's literally throwing a game to try and prove a point. You should be fired. It's not a joke. It's not a meme. You should be fired for that. You can't just throw a game because you're mad at us. Mad at us for what? Because you can't coach? How is that our problem? Making us suffer through that shenanigans. It's too much. And especially a game when you're going up against the Leah Boston, who maybe last year was a little bit of a bust, but this year, she ain't playing no games. So you can't move side to side lateral Tina out there? Getting cooked? And even if you left the starting lineup exactly how it was, at least when you get these switches and such, you know, you go off of Tina and he gets switched on to Cheyenne and vice versa. So at least it's size and veteran experience trying to keep Aaliyah Boston contained. But no, what ended up happening, and I mean, it's a shame. I don't enjoy being right when it's like this, but what ended up happening is it was a switch off of Tina Charles, and Aaliyah Boston was being guarded a majority of the night by Haley Jones. And towards the end of the game, where it was back and forth, after Ryan Howard put the team on her back and just willed us back to where we should have been. We actually even took the lead at one point. Also, keep in mind that Tina Charles was strapped to the bench at that point, but that's not even there. Ryan carries us all the way back into the game. We're up by 1. And how is it that we keep losing the lead? Aaliyah Boston is murdering Haley in the post. The same switch. Like, it is so unfortunate. And while there are micro critiques we can make, like Coach Wright's inability to understand when there's like that swing thing. Again, I'm not an X's and O's guy, but again, I'm just picking up what I'm viewing here, doing the eye test. That little swing thing where it's like a glorified drive and kick, and you just keep passing the ball along the arc until you run out of defenders because you have collapsed in the paint on one individual who can't score. That's Caitlin Clark, by the way, because she couldn't score even if she was wide open. So you're double teaming and collapsing on the drive to have the ball kick out. Then you swing it there. Then you swing it here. Once you get to that second swing, you got 2 in the paint, 1 out here, then 1 more, right? Like that's 1, 2, 3, right? So you still have 2 more players to kick the ball to, whereas we just have 1. And she's probably going to have to leave a defender to do so, or just stay on because you don't want that next swing. So whoever's at the top of the key is wide open. immediate swish. Again, I'm not an X's and O's guy. I'm just telling you that's what the eye test would that is common sense. And she's a third-year coach. How do you not see that? It's very painful to watch. It's very, very, very painful to watch. I feel like there are ways that you can go about figuring out what to do with Cheyenne Parker. And if you just want to jump out the window and just go small ball and just see what happens, was Naz not holding her own again, like she always does? It's peak silliness. And if you're having a situation where, again, the lights are a little too bright for Miss Jones, you can simply have her go to the bench lineup as well. Again, I don't ever want to see Crystal Dangerfield even touch the court if she's going to keep acting like this, but that's not even there. But you can have Aerial Powers in the starting lineup and just let Ryan Howard run point. And again, do the Enrique Agumawale thing. But it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me because what Coach Wright is doing, and she can be quoted on this. She can be quoted. This is not allegedly. This is a quote. This is what she said like yesterday. This is what she said. She said that we run a open offense, which means everybody just get what you can based on what the defense gives you. So you're admitting to not drawing plays because you think you're doing some amazing hybrid motion offense that's the new wave. Not drawing plays is not the new wave. That is laziness. It's not a new wave. And any coach that does that normally does not have a very high success rate. Because again, we're not talking about being competitive. We're talking about winning. We want to win games. This team is constructed to win games, not be competitive, not get after it, not try really hard, but win. And for the 15th video in a row, I'm really trying to understand why the team's focus is not winning. We don't care what the brand is. We don't care if it's a sellout. We don't care. I don't care that when Caitlin Clark and them come over to Atlanta, it's going to be at the State Farm Arena. We don't care. We want to win games. We don't care. So we lost yet another game. This was to a team that has not won more than, up until last night, who had not won 2 home games, well, more than 2 home games this entire season so far. They just got home game win number 3 a month and a half into the season because we came to town. And even though I've offered solutions for about 2 weeks straight, I'm going to continue to just try to be somewhat responsible about this and not just complain, because you never know if this is someone's first time watching content here. So let me just repeat for the 9 millionth time, basically the only fix you can do at this point. Just let Ryan run the point and just have support around her. We just wait patiently and twiddle our thumbs until Jordan Canada comes back. Well, debuts. Or you fire Coach Wright. Those are the basic options that we have left at this point, because you have to save this season. The Dream are clearly in win now mode, according to who is on the team and the contracts and all that stuff. So we don't really have time for this. The experimental year was last year. It's time to win. And this team is far too talented on paper, even with our weak links. We're just too talented to be losing to garbage lottery teams like this. And though Aaliyah played out of her mind, the Fever are garbage. That's not a hot take, but some of y'all need to know that because you're new here. The Fever are garbage. They got the #1 pick 2 years in a row because they're trash. So we shouldn't be losing to teams like that. You should never lose to Washington with no Elena Delle Donne and Cloud is off somewhere. No! No!